Welcome again today to King's Bio Production Academy. Today we want to discuss about the biology paper 3 blueprint, the blueprint of biology paper 3. As you know, this one is for the high school learners, those who are intending to do KCSE exam this year 2025 and even the remaining two classes in the 844 system. We have something called the table of specification. And this one, if you follow it very well, you will just manage to score your best grade. That is what? A grade that is 40 over 40 in your paper 3. If not, you will score a very good high grade. So let's check about the frequency index of some topics. We have some topics which will be carrying a lot of marks. If you understand and clearly understand it, I'm telling you, you will not fail in your paper 3. The first topic that carries the highest index. This one is analysis from that I've done from the year 2006 to date. That is to last year 2024. And the one with the highest index mark is nutrition. Nutrition carries the day when it comes to your paper 3. Nutrition for the last, since 2006 to date, that is to 2024, the total marks that has been set from this topic is 175 marks. And we just have very few testing areas when it comes to paper 3. Which are these kind of areas? Let's give it by examples. Number one, food test. You have to understand the very good procedure of food test, from the food substance and again to the reagents, because it can be chemical test or food test. So understand very clearly. Last year was just about application. They gave them a bread which they left it for some days and there was growth of some molds. Then they were told to remove those molds which had grown. They must macerate that bread and test for starch, because they were given just a solution which is iodine solution, and they were told to carry out a food test. So they should have known that bread is starchy food. So they were testing for starch. It was carrying 5 marks. That is just a one food sample or food substance to be tested and carried how many marks? 6 marks. Then there were some other questions about assumptions. That is food test. Number 2, we still have the dentition. The dentition, that is the ganivorous, omnivorous, and even herbivorous. You can check about the skull. You can speak about the teeth and how they are adapted to their functions. That is about the dentition. Then we have again the structure of the alimentary canal. The structure of the alimentary canal. They can be told how it's adapted. Let's say they can be given the stomach. They can be given an organism. They dissect. Then they describe those structures. They can even be told to squeeze the juices and test for that food test. They can be told to fill some of the structure like the ileum. They dissect it. They make a dissection lengthwise or even a cross section. They can use hand lens, microscope, then they carry observation. We have many questions of that section. So when you check about the 2017 to 2024, 2017 to 2024, this topic has been carrying more than 15 marks. More than 15 marks, except in 2018, which was zero tested. It was zero tested in 2018, but the other years they were carrying more than 15 marks. So last year still it had a lot of marks. That is what? This number 1, which is nutrition. Which one is the second topic with the highest frequency? The second one is classification. Our examiners nowadays love classification topic. So for this classification, you have to understand, because since at the last, from 2006 to 2024, it has been tested around how many marks? That is now to 2024. The marks which has been tested is around 141 marks. 141 marks. Can you imagine? So, and the previous years, that is now since 2019, it has been having for more than 10 marks each and every year. Even last year they were given a bread mold. So they were drawing a bread mold. Then again, after drawing, they were given some questions, classification, they were classifying. So the most important thing that you have to understand in this section is what? You just have to understand how to classify from kingdom to the species end. So if you understand those classification, it will be very easy for you. Which are the kingdoms? We have how many kingdoms? We have 5 kingdoms. That is kingdom Animalia, Plantae, Monera, Protoctista, and what? Fungi. So last year was fungi. Next year might be, this year might be another kingdom. So just understand each and every kingdom. From the kingdom, understand their phylums. Then understand the importance, just all the breakthrough of this section. Just understand that topic very well. If you understand it, I'm telling you, you'll be having an upper hand of performing well in your biology. So it means if you understand nutrition very well, number 2, you understand about classification, you're by 3, you're sorted. You are almost not sorted, you are almost sorted. Then number 3, it's followed by support. Support has carried around 91 marks since 2006 to date. And in support, we just have some areas which are being tested. The skeletons, we have 3 skeletons. The last year, the skeleton that was tested was the exoskeleton, that is for the insect. The students were given cockroach. So it was about the exoskeleton, importance, and how can it differ in terms of growth with that of the human being. So you understand we have the continuous and the discontinuous growth on the other section. And this one, discontinuous growth for the cockroach is because of the exoskeleton. That is still linked to support. So again, another thing that you have to understand in the support is the bones. The bones of the vertebral column. You have to understand again about the limbs, you understand about the joints, you understand about the muscles. And you will be well to go when it comes to the support. Those are very few areas for students to read and understand. That is it. Then we have now reproduction. Reproduction has carried around 61 marks since 2006. We just have very few areas when it comes to reproduction. Understand about the cell division structures, understand about the fruits, and even its description in relation to even placentations. Understand about the flowers, description of all the nature of the flowers. From the ovaries, the carpels, understand all, if it's a complete or incomplete flower. Just understand all the structures when it comes to the flower. When you're given wind-pollinated, insect-pollinated flowers. Those are the reproduction areas. Then we have now the ecology. Ecology has carried around 51 marks since 2006. Which are the areas in ecology that you might be given? In ecology, they can give you about pollution, water pollution. They give you an organism, like a flamingo, inside a water body, which is what? Polluted. Then they ask you about the effects of such kind of a pollution. You can be given some organisms, like the Schistosoma species, and any other organism. Then you describe those organisms, their control measures, harmful effects. Then again, you can be given an organism or a plant species based on its habitat, not specific a plant, but even the organisms in an ecosystem and the habitat. You should understand about the habitats. You know about the habitats. We have various forms of habitats, aquatic and the terrestrial. Then again, from those aquatic and the terrestrial, they are further subdivided. How are the organisms adapted? Which organism suits which ecosystem? Those are paper 3 questions. From now that point, we are lowering, we go to gaseous exchange, being number 6, and it has only been tested. Only 42 marks has been tested since the year 2006. 42 marks. So for this one, gaseous exchange, the most common structure which is asked in gaseous exchange is the gills, the gill of a fish, the gill of a fish. That one you'll dissect, you remove it, you may be given a hand lens, you enlarge, you draw, and even you speak how it's adapted to its function. So you should understand that that is about the gaseous exchange. And some questions, maybe they can draw something of a structure. Then again, you'll be given about the cell physiology. The cell physiology is number 7, but it's common. So the cell physiology, which are the areas that you can be tested in cell physiology? So in cell physiology, the only areas that can be tested is about the experimental areas. You have to experiment and carry practicals. That is, you can be given a Visking tubing, then you perform the osmosis, you can do diffusion, and again, you can be given about like last year part 1, that is 2023, they were given a KEL, that is Kumawiki. Then they were given 2 different solutions, that's an hypertonic and hypotonic solution, and they used the stock, that is the petrol, to perform some experiments. We have various experiments: slit experiment, coverage experiment, lengthwise different experiments. So those are the things that we are speaking about. Then from that point again, that is about the cell physiology now, and we are saying it has carried how many marks? Around 41 marks. We have the transport. Transport, according to by last year, that is 2024, around 45 marks have been tested in transport. Transport areas are very minimal. You just have to understand about the cross sections. Cross sections, transfer section, longitudinal section, over stem and a root. You'll be given a plant, you cut the stem, you may be told you mount on a microscope, or you spread in a tile and use what? Use hand lens. Then you draw. Then the other one, you can be told, you can be given in an experiment on diagrammatic form. Then you answer the questions. An example of an art structure, but no, still you can be given a dissection. You be told you dissect some structures like the art kidney, not kidney, but art mechaly, that is in transport. You dissect the art structure, then you answer some questions. From that point, we have growth and development being number, not excretion, but at number 9. But now on excretion, it has only been tested twice since 2006 to date. I've said how many times? Only 2 times. That is 2012 and 2020. 2012, it was tested 14 marks. 2020, it was tested 10 marks. So it means 24 marks have only been tested. So we are saying twice. We have growth and development. It has only been tested again. It's not twice now, but thrice, but the marks are low. The first marks, that is 2012, was 5. 2012 was 12 marks, and 2021, it was 2 marks. So we are saying 12, 5, that's 17 plus 2, 19 marks. So 19 marks has been tested since 2006 to 2024. That is about what? Growth and development. But again, we have 2024. It was tested 4 marks. About difference in growth of an cockroach and that of a human being, 4 marks. So making it to be 23 marks. Then again, we have respiration. Respiration has only been tested once. That is only in the year 2024. And it tested, not 2024, sorry, but 2014. Respiration was tested in the year 2014. Since 2006 to 2024, it has only been tested once. That is 2014. How many marks? 13 marks. We have the cell. The cell has only again been tested once, that is 2016, not once but twice, 2016 and 2022. 2022, 7 marks, then 2016, 4 marks. Then we have evolution. It has only been tested once, that is in the year 2016, 3 marks. We have these 2 topics which have never been tested in paper 3. And those topics are introduction and genetics. So for a good student, if you need to perfect your paper 3, you should be knowing there are some areas which even if it will be tested, it will be having low marks. Starting from the lower section, introduction, genetics, we have growth and development. We have what again? The cell. We have reception. We have growth and development, excretion, transport. Let's say to that point. We are not saying they'll not be tested, but even if they'll be tested, they'll just be having low marks. But we have some key areas that you have to master and understand very well, clearly. Nutrition, classification, rest, not the support. We have reproduction and we have the ecology. Then to maybe issues exchange. And if you understand this one, you'll have an upper hand of understanding more and getting more marks when it comes to which your paper 3. So our next discussion, I'll briefly guide you on how you'll perform better when it comes to your paper 2 and your paper 1 in biology. We need to see people scoring A's in biology. And for you to score an A in biology, reading is not just enough for you. You have to get information. I'm telling you, information is the best thing than anything else in this world. Be informed so that now when you are reading, you read by differentiating your studies based on your papers. So that you know in this section, I'll have to put weight on a certain paper. Our paper 2 is, again, is very structured. It's easy to read. But your paper 1, I'll know how to guide you. But I'm telling you, your paper 1 is content-based. How smart are you? And your grade, I'll check based on your paper 1. If you're good in paper 1, it means your mastery of your content is very high. But your paper 3, I'm telling you, even if you are not a smart student, your paper 3, you don't have a reason to fail. Your paper 3, you should just score. If not all the marks, you just have to score a good mark, which is a good mark. Let's say that and above is a good mark. The others are other marks. They are not in my vocabulary, the others. For a good student, you should score 30 plus in your paper 3. Thank you. Subscribe so that you can get more of information as we continue learning. Thank you very much.